Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks, where I just want to take a quick second to say thank you to everybody who took the time to put a comment down below and tell me exactly what they were thinking about the new Cinema Cam. Like I've explained before, that's a brand new tool that I'm still trying to figure out exactly the best way to use, so I definitely appreciate all the lovely feedback that you guys have given me over the last couple of casts. I know it's been a little nauseating, some people have noted quite potently. I know it's a little disorienting. I just want to say thank you to everybody for bearing with me while we learn all that. But anywho, why don't we jump into a spectacular game of Beyond All Reason. It's not often that we get a game of this quality. This one was sent on over to me in my Discord channel, but it was played by some of the best of the best of the best currently on the Beyond All Reason leaderboard. So our blue team leader today, spawning as Armada, is going to be Sabotai, coming in at 53 true skill. Man, I remember a time when the highest true skill player, the highest open skill player in the lobbies was 30. 30 was the highest open skill that existed. Now we're up to 53. Love to see this game growing and moving on upwards in the ranks here. All the way on the other side of the map, also as an Armada commander, wearing a little Viking helmet. We have none other than Narnok. Yeah, Narnok going to be playing as the Armada commander here, coming in at 48 true skill, just a couple points behind, open skill, sorry, I always get that mixed up. Coming in just a couple of points behind Sabotai here, 5 points if my math is correct. Never do math in a video, that's what they say anyways. Gonna be starting off, playing Armada as a bot player as well. So, the map today, Flats and Forests, a fairly popular map, a fairly common map, and a fairly simple map. Yeah, as far as complexities go, it doesn't have too much. There's a couple of hills right here with some geothermals on them. That adds a little bit of complexity. There's some big flat open areas where vehicles are going to be a little bit more powerful. The hills obviously going to be slightly better for bots, but overall, I think vehicles are almost always favored on this map. I say that as just about everybody here has gone for bots, yeah. All the way across the entire plane right here, it looks like one player has gone for vehicles? Wow, alright, well Max675, apparently the only commander interested in playing vehicles right here for the red team. How are we looking for blue? Bots, everybody playing bots, alright, well, I guess you heard it here first. The pros here definitely favoring bots in this matchup, and I think probably the biggest reason for that, of course, is going to be those res bots, which allow you to reclaim all the trees that are available on this map, eating up tons and tons of that juicy energy and allowing you to kickstart your economy super quickly. A couple of rovers making their way across the map here, trying to do some scouting and a little bit of damage if they can find it. Not really so far. Yep, Narna gets the one that was headed towards that base, and Max675 holding his own, making sure to keep the defensive rover here to try and thwart the effect of the lavender one, still patrolling the map here. We do have constructors moving out already here, getting ready to rapidly expand by sending these constructors forward. We already have some build power set up. That's the benefit of that really early resbot production. Eating up those trees means, of course, that you now have the energy to go for those really expensive things, like the construction turrets, like a whole bunch of units, like a whole bunch of ticks. We do have a bunch spamming through the map right here. Yeah, the purple commander looking for anything that they can find. Chisato wearing that golden crown right there, the king of bar. Going to be marching around that metal extractor, trying to keep it all nice and safe. And what a heated little tick harassment right here, yeah. Tons and tons of ticks in the backline right now. Will be cleaned up by the maroon commander. One wind turbine goes down. Metal extractor stays, though. Oh, tricky. It's on that little hill right there. Okay, well, manages to get another wind turbine. Grunt's trying to flash down this other tick in the backline here. Ooh, the brown commander's suffering a little bit. Yep, one tick has snuck through, but that's really all it takes. Just like that, the tick in the backline has whittled down a metal extractor. It's also done some good work on a solar panel, but that will not be finished. 50% on that solar panel. Man, the pros get up to aggression right away, huh? Already 4 minutes into this game, and we're already seeing fighting, skirmishing, dogfighting all over the map right here. Rovers trying to clean up as much of this as possible. Their little heat ray gun, not very effective. It's a weird matchup, the rover versus the tick. The rover, the sort of scale of quality here is that the rover is worse than the rascal is worse than the tick, right? So the tick is the king, and then the rascal is slightly behind it, and then the rovers are behind even that. Just based on the way that the units match up, I do mean. Finally, someone on the red team gets aggressive over to the other side. It does feel like the blue team has been in the command seat here for the longest time. A couple of ticks bypassing the blitz right here to get into the base of the lavender commander. They're going to find an exposed metal extractor, so that should be an easy kill. Well, okay, there we go. Splitting these forces up and trying to get kills with them. There's an LLT here to defend, but of course, some of those buildings will body block here. Action all over the map. Sorry if I do miss something. Minimap is where I'm mostly pulling all my data from. Rovers moving forward. A couple of ticks still in the back line. These ones are trying to find an opportunity to move in here. There's some in the back as well. Checking around for exposed metal extractors. And Constructor in a whole lot of trouble right now. Couple of those ticks. Yeah, blasting away. 10% HP. Oh, it's so close. Highgate manages to keep it alive. Excellent little bit of micro right there from the green commander. Manages to keep that Constructor alive by repairing it and blasting away those ticks with the commander's LLT beam. Very, very nicely done. Still 3 ticks for the yellow commander in the backline right now as well. We do have a bunch of aggression right here from the pink commander, moving some grunts forward and trying to snipe as many of these pawns as possible from Sabotai, trying to deny as much area as we can. That's Strawberry going up against Sabotai. 32 true skill versus, or open skill versus 53. Quite a disparity right there, but the grunt traits are on top. Those pawns recently did get their buff to allow them to actually catch up to grunts, so grunts no longer can infinitely kite against them. Definitely something to be well aware of. And that wreckage field is now on the side of the blue team. If we can take control of this wreckage field, it would definitely be nice. And a couple of ticks continuing to be aggressive over on the other side of the map. I have a feeling the APM is going to be off the charts right here. They did add an APM ticker, by the way, so we can actually see the APM of these players. Sabotai coming in at about 300 APM per second. Narnok coming in at about 69. That's quite nice. Ticks continuing to be aggressive all over the place in the backline. They find a res bot. That's always good. Shutting down those res bots are very expensive, so that's always lovely, but the metal extractors here are definitely the prime target. There we go. One down. And they will both be eaten up. There's another tick hiding back here, actually. Yeah, Narnok has hidden a tick over here in the backlines. Nobody can see it because of the trees. That's pretty funny. This could certainly pop out and do a little bit of damage to any exposed metal extractors that we do happen to find. More and more units across the map. Nobody thinking about T2 yet so far in this match. Everybody is just laser focused on pushing their lines as aggressively as possible. It's one of the biggest differences between the highest level of gameplay and some of the, you know, the mid tiers, the metal leagues, if you will. One of the biggest differences is, of course, that oftentimes the pros are really, really good at putting all their metal on the field, reclaiming all that metal, and using it for T2. That way there's no wasted time where there's metal lingering in limbo. Mount Doom in a whole lot of trouble right here. The Lavender Commander does fall. Commander falls, but definitely on the side of the blue team. So I don't think that wreckage is going to go back towards the red team here for the kill. So it's just a lot of dead units. And now there's a huge counterattack getting ready to make its way in this direction. If the red team can manage to hold on to this counterattack right here, I think they'll be in a pretty good spot. Obviously, bringing that commander down does relieve a lot of the pressure right here. No more LLTs or anything like that will be set up. All the commander can really contribute against vehicles is a D-gun, but those D-guns are killer. Yeah, one D-gun sent through the middle of your medium tank ball can certainly shut down your snowball quite egregiously. Standard Rocketeer battle over here, Aggravator battle. 2 Cortex commanders firing away those rockets, moving back to repair everything, and then stepping forward once more to try and fire away again. Up on the northern side, we do have those vehicles going up against the bots here. Jazzcash going for a frontline vehicle factory here to complement the backline bot lab. Always a very popular build order, of course. Going for those vehicles in the front gives you those Wolverines, which you can use to fire away at any of the T1 static defenses, save for the gauntlets and agitators, I suppose. But everything else, those Wolverines do outrange, including heavy laser towers, so that's one of the reasons why you might want to go for those. Israid going to indeed go for a, didn't mean to make that rhyme, but anyway, the brown commander here going to go ahead and go for a vehicle lab as well. That is always an option. You see your enemy going for something, pretty much always you can just do the same thing, mirror their movements if you have the proper scouting. Static defenses are falling over here on the middle of the map for the yellow commander. We've already got the geothermal up and running. Very, very impressive that we already have that going, but we also have heavy laser towers and lightning turrets and all sorts of other stuff coming up to try and defend it. Sabotai in a little bit of trouble here. We do have the pawns in front, and we have a forward vehicle bay as well. Yeah, those Janus, they really can't hurt if their missiles connect in just the right way. Little run by force over here, by the way. Couple of pawns making it through the front lines and into the back lines now. Going to find some exposed metal extractors. In fact, part of this base, large parts of this base over here are completely exposed. Yeah, the blue commander, the powder blue commander, Mr. Elusive, caught in a little bit of a pickle. Constructor goes down right there. That's a nice little snatch. We are putting a lab up here to try and start up some more production. Oh, metal extractor stands. Where are these pawns off to? Lost Deadman not microing these pawns to the toppest tier. Probably a little bit worried about what's going on over here. Spending the APM microing units elsewhere on the map. And and these pawns will be cleaned up. What a bit of a bummer. Those pawns certainly could have done a little bit more damage. If they had ran by in this direction, maybe taken down some wind turbines, maybe even the build power, they also could have spread out and done damage to the metal extractors. Just an unfortunate loss of control right there. Big pawn wave running forward right here, triggering the Januses into friendly firing a little bit. But all said and done, most of that is held quite nicely by the Green Commander. It does open the opportunity again for Lost Dead Man to send another wave of pawns forward. How much damage can they do? They want desperately to kill those constructors wherever they can find them. The constructor's obviously responsible for keeping those metal extractors maintained, so if you can pick those off, then you're going to be in a pretty nice position. Looks like the commander's traded out over here for the hot pink and green commander. That's random variable traded with Shizato. Both commanders went down, but a lot of that metal reclaim, if not all of that metal reclaim here, has gone to the hot pink commander. Means that we could potentially look for a T2 transition if we're ready for it. We do already have a T2 lab up and running right now for Narnuk. That's impressive to see. Using the metal from the dead commander right here, fighting tooth and nail to reclaim it, and now using that metal to go into a very aggressive T2. Those lightning tanks are going to be wonderful against the T1 forces right here. You can see they do a phenomenal job of blasting away those T1 pawns and grunts and ticks and rovers and all the rest of it. Basically, any of those scout units that stay pretty close together, that chain lightning is going to have a wonderful effect against. Lightning tanks here. Yep, continuing to be a nuisance. Beautifully done. They're cheap enough that you can start to spam them out even without the full-blown T2 economy up and running, but they're also powerful enough to actually be meaningful on the front lines. Resbot to try and pick up this geothermal wreckage. Love to see that in the meantime here. Strawberry trying to contest this lane. My goodness, that's quite a lot of aggregators here. Yeah, those Cortex rocket butts firing their twin missile salvo. Going to be more than sufficient to blast away these Janus. They are technically the counter to Janus. It's just a weird kind of back and forth. You have to jump in with them and then fire and then back off, trying to fire away at the Janus without letting the Janus fire away at you. Every time one of those twin missiles fires, it does hurt quite significantly. There we go, though. Mass Shell Shocker not really doing what it needs to. I think we needed more Janus on the field as these aggravators step forward right here, blasting apart all those very, very fragile artillery pieces. Lightning turret falls here, and the lab is under a whole lot of trouble as well. Tons of Resbots to pick everything up, by the way. Resbots crucial to this strategy working out, lending your army so much more sustain, and just like that, a killer run-by is set up. Grunts, pawns, everything and some more moving into the backline right here, heading directly towards the eco center for the blue commander. There are some LLTs up and running, so those will help with the defense, but this is a lot of T1 moving in this direction. More LLTs set up immediately. Yeah, I think those T1 bots are going to be shut down right here, but for the time being, Strawberry commands an overwhelming advantage right now. Massive bombing run coming out, by the way. Those Stormbringers, not very potent on their own, but as a functional group, they certainly can bomb down targets with ease. Essentially meant as a area bombing tool rather than a single target bombing tool. A carpet bombing tool, if you will. There you go. You can see all those wind turbines getting knocked out. Excellent bombing run right here from the yellow commander. Beautiful air switch right there from Lost Dead Man. That's the reason why we were losing the front line, is because the reinforcements were shut off. The lab was eaten up, and so no more reinforcements were coming out. What an excellent, excellent play right here. Yeah, these bombers making a tremendous difference right now. You can see the blue team now about 1,000 energy production behind and falling. Every successful bombing run these go for. Huge damage across the map. Metal extractors falling here as well. Well worth paying attention to. Every metal extractor we can snipe is well worth it. Fighters finally moving to intercept over here. I want to check out what else is going on in the green front, but these bombers are still getting value at the backline. Wind turbines, E-converters, everything and some more is popping here. The green commander going for an air lab, trying to pump out some fighters as well. But of course, shutting down the E-production makes those fighters, they come out quite a bit slower. Eventually, these bombers will be cleaned up over here, but they've gotten more than their fair share of value. At this point, I think it's probably time we transition away. No. Okay. Yellow Commander going for a whole bunch of Banshees at this point. Interesting choice to go for Banshees, because you know that they're going to be countered by the fighters that the enemy produces in order to effectively shut down your bombers. So it's a bit of a strange choice, in my opinion. Certainly could have some value, though. Frontline bot lab, I think it's time we eat this up. This whole front line has been dissolved right here for max 675 by these Mauser that have been firing away from high gain. Very, very efficient. Those Mauser, as long as they connect a couple of shots, they can get their metals value. 320 metal apiece is not very expensive, at least not for the T2 era. A little expensive on the T1 economy, but certainly not for T2. A couple of lightning tanks moving through. There are lightning tanks to counter them here. At the very least, though, that backpack anti-air missile is also nice to shut down those fighters, because again, if we're gonna go for mass gunship, which we are, I see, we're going for commander snipes with the mass gunship. Interesting. Griko Bratko in a terrible position right now as the Banshees jump on top of this commander. You only need about 12 or 13 or so of them, and boom goes the Seafoam Green commander, handed right into the hands here of Nazah, who is very low on HP, but now inherits quite a lot of metal in the form of Commander Corpse. Strawberry with her T2 lab up and running has started pumping out Fiends and Grunts. It's that age-old Cortex composition. It's a wonderful skirmishing force. You get the assuredness of the laser fire with also the firepower of the Fiends. No pun intended, but very well meant. We are losing this northern lane, though. Yeah. Mass Shuriken to try and stop this push, and it is only T1, so now that these Fiends are getting involved in the fight here, I think things are going to turn around a little bit for the brown and red commanders. Brown and maroon commander. Those Jaguar tanks are pretty mean, though. They're mean, and their anti-air missiles shoot down the Shuriken quite nicely here. We're in a little bit of a race against the clock here. This northern side is not going to hold forever. The advantage can be accentuated by just sending resbots forward and reclaiming all these vehicles. The Fiends are only a band-aid on the gaping wound. Sumo is going to be quite a bit better. Sumo's also quite a bit slower, though. Trade-offs all over the place. Mauser harassing back this commander. We're going to need some sort of imminent solution over on that side. Strawberry's line has been completely crumbled at this point. Resbots have picked up everything, even resurrected a T2 constructor. Just going to start building some forward T2 metal extractors. Sure, why not? Put some mexes down, try and get some value out of the enemy side of the map. That's always the goal anyways, is to build your enemy's metal extractors. Denying them theirs is always one thing, but capturing theirs is exactly double the effectiveness. Fighters surging forward. Are we going for another gunship play? We sure are. Interesting. Alright, well, we got more Banshees coming out here. I'm surprised to see that Lost Deadman is committing so heavily to the Banshees. At the very least, going for the fighters makes sense, trying to keep that airspace clear, but the Banshees, I don't know if we're going to be able to pull that off more than once. There we go. Mass Shuriken to paralyze a lot of the static defense, making these grunt plays really efficient. Stupid here, the purple commander, trying to hold on to all this, but those LLTs being paralyzed means the grunts didn't really take much damage as they push forward here. Purple commander in a little bit of trouble. Nice D-guns right there, though. Oh, cleaving away those grunts. My goodness. Those are some beautiful D-guns right there from the purple commander, who actually does manage to walk out of that with his life. 25% of it, anyways. Very, very close for the purple commander. I think with just a little bit more micro, those grunts probably could have survived and maybe brought down that commander. But suffice it to say, the purple commander cannot be feeling very comfortable here. Forced to use those D-guns very, very liberally. Fiends moving forward. Yep, T1 gonna melt away under the firepower of the Fiend. Burning back the Infidels. Converters pop. Wind turbines falling here as well. That wave is denied. But every subsequent attack pushes further and further here. This is actually really nice. Getting these metal extractors is a huge advantage for the Strawberry. Bullfight up here. Very nicely won right now, actually, by the green commander. Yeah, I want to say Pro High Gain has the advantage, and certainly this forward T2 lab is quite nice. We're going for a lot of T1 constructors. I wonder what those are for. I guess just claiming metal extractors that get killed by run-bys or something like that. But anyway, producing tons and tons of units and trying desperately to get some value out of them. Mine layer here, almost deploying mines into a Juno field. Always dangerous. Lightning tanks continuing to harass whatever they can. On this map, the name of the game is Speed, and I'm curious to see if anybody's going to be going for Marauders. Just checking around some of the bases here. We're still on T2 comfortably for most of these players. Sprinters running past the medium tanks and into the bases here. What a beautiful composition of Fiends, Hounds, and Grunts. Making very short work of all this T1. Even the medium tank's not really going to be sturdy enough to hold up against that much firepower. T2 firepower, nonetheless. The damage per second on Fiends is unreal. The combined damage on Hounds is also spectacular. It's a match made in heaven, truly. Weber's come out, actually. Okay. I like Webbers here. I think they're great for reclaim, of course, but also their paralysis beam can make really inefficient fights into very efficient fights. I think the reclaim here is probably king. Every ounce of reclaim we can pull back into the lab to spam out more units is going to be very, very valuable right now. Obviously, paralyzing troops very useful as well. Those Webbers are certainly a powerhouse to keep in mind as an Armada commander. The Bull Ball has been rebuilt right here for Narnak, who's continuing to invest into those T2 heavy tanks. Understandable, as those tanks can be a menace on the front lines. We do have a tick spam coming out now as well, trying to mitigate as much of the attention span that those units are allocated as possible. Lightning tanks have ravaged the base of the Hot Pink commander, or at least one of the bases, the forward base, I should say. Advanced solar panels still up and running right now. We're going to transition into Cortex Shuriken, Cortex Air from Armada vehicles here. Bit of a strange tech journey we've got all over the place right now. Mammoth has already been out on the line right here to try and hold this. Would love to see this continuing to push forward so we can claim these metal extractors here for Israel. The tick spam being shut down handily, but beautiful engagement right here from the green commander. Yeah, that's a lot of bulls. Honestly, I think we should resurrect those. I think if we resurrect those bulls and then we use them in the army right here, I think we've already hit a snowball. Yep, we are gonna resurrect them. Beautifully done right now. Yeah, High Gain goes for the resurrection. I think that's the right move. Similar to a Navy battle almost, where resurrecting units can be really, really valuable if it pushes you over that snowball-y edge. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. Pulsar almost finished right now. I'd love this Pulsar if we had the units to defend it up on the front, but it really just doesn't feel like that's the case. It's also still a little ways from being finished. Yeah, the Bulls spy it. Ooh, did they see it? Did they see it? They do indeed. They see the Pulsar just moments before it finishes. Oh no. It didn't even get to finish into a wreckage. We just lose all that metal. That's a whopping 3,500 metal down the drain right there for the Red Commander. I think we were hoping on using that static defense to really secure all this. Not going to be the case, though. Resurrected Bull is going to be such a menace to deal with here. Narnak in desperate need of some sort of a change. Maybe it's Starlights to try and go ahead and get some sort of advantage over the Bulls. Maybe it's Webbers to try and paralyze them, or some sort of EMP to try and paralyze them. Something desperate must be done in order to clean all this up. Hound's out now for the Blue Commander, who's done an excellent job of holding on, in spite of everything. Oh. Nuclear bombers coming in. Bombs away. Boom goes the base, the anti-air defense, and all the rest of it. Fusion reactors popping. Man, those nuclear bombers are cool. The Lich is shot down by the anti-air defenses that were set up in post of that bombing run earlier. But those nuclear bombers definitely just obliterated the base right here for the Blue Commander. Left without basically any T2 production. Now forced to try and defend with just the units that we have out on the field. Not particularly well suited against a tick spam. Whoa, very far forward T3 gantry, by the way. Strawberry trying to produce the T3 units and walk them straight into the battlefield. Could certainly work. We have the T2 lab in the back we could always eat up, of course, eating up the solar panels right there. Love to see it. Definitely expect a player of Strawberry's caliber to be doing that, but, you know, definitely a lesson to be learned. If you're looking for metal in the mid to late game and you haven't eaten up your solar panels, that's definitely what I would recommend you get it from. Landmines have been set up all over the place here. Certainly denying a little bit of this quite nicely. Another atomic bomber headed across the map right now. You just don't have the most range in the world, vision range that is. What are we trying to snipe right now? Well, I'll tell you what, there's no fighters over here, so... We're going for the T2 lab. No, we're going for the fusions. Beautifully done. Bombs away. Boom goes the fusion reactor, as well as the anti-nuke, actually. No anti-nuke available now for the Seafoam Green Commander. Do we have a nuke charge? Is that the play? Are we sniping anti-nukes? I don't think so. Razorback's up and running for the Cyan Commander. That's Jazz Cash now with Two Razorbacks marching forward, tearing apart all this T2 and T1 static defense and units. Israel trying to get a trade here. The commander in a whole lot of trouble. Persecutor just barely finishes up. Don't think it's going to be able to find much value, though. These Razorbacks are causing so many issues. Meanwhile, the Fiend Ball found a squishy opening right here and exploited it. The Lavender Commander's entire economy burning to the ground right now. What a beautiful, beautiful little run by. Medium tanks unable to contest. Loads of Stormbringers coming across. My goodness. A blotting out of the sky's worth of Stormbringers. Coming across the map and carpet bombing everything to dust. Fusion Reactor. Random Fusion Reactor built in the middle of nowhere here. Gonna be the target of quite a hefty bombing. And the blue team puts a resign. Puts a vote to resign. Razorbacks shut down by the Pitbulls here. But definitely not before doing some serious damage. Mammoths walking forward here as well, trying to find any value that they can. If they can blast away past the wreckages. It is a problem. One of the short-sighted, or one of the shortcomings of the Mammoth, of course, is the fact that it does not perform exceptionally against things that it can't shoot over. Oh. Nuclear bombers coming in, taking out the fusion reactors. Very nice. The tactical nuclear bombers here to take down fusion reactors is beautiful. Love to see that right here from the Orange Commander. That's Nazah going for a T2 air transition to try and get as much value out of here as possible. Another beautiful connection, and it seals the deal right here for the red team. Wonderfully played by the air transition right there from Lost Deadman as well as Nazah. Absolutely love watching the pros because they can do those transitions so quickly while still maintaining presence out on the battlefield. What an excellent, excellent push and a beautiful game of Beyond All Reason. Thanks a ton for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I will see you in the very next match of Beyond All Reason.